And another ayah is revealed to him, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa anzir ashiratak al-aqrabin. Warn your close family members. So the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi gathers all of his family, his uncles and his cousins, and he with his own blessed hands, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, he makes for them food. And who's there amongst them? Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab's there. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi is about to speak, about to invite them all collectively to Islam. And who ruins it again? Abu Lahab. He says, Ya Muhammad, if you're here to talk to us about this religion of yours, we don't want to hear anything about it. And so the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi keeps quiet. Doesn't say anything. He lets everyone eat and they all go. He invites them all a second time. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. But this time, he doesn't bring Abu Lahab into his home. Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi. And he tells everyone around them. You can imagine, if you have something good, who do you want to partake in it the most? Your family. You want your family to be on this path. And the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, he tells them, he swears that he is a messenger of God to them specifically and to all creation in general. And he tells them something that wallahi, you and I need to hear in this day and age as well. And he tells them, by Allah, you will die just like you sleep. These are the words of Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, just telling his family, but telling you and I the realities of life. He says, by Allah, you will die just like you sleep. And by Allah, you will be resurrected just like you wake. You will be taken account for your actions, rewarded for your good with good, and repaid for your wickedness with wickedness. This is the reality of life. This is the reality of all existence, that one day we will all die. Everything that we're experiencing now will come to an end. And the akhirah will be made apparent for us just like it is when we wake up. It's like a short slumber. But that's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes us into hisab. He takes us into account. And so the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi is telling his family, and in turn he's telling you and I, do good, work for the akhirah. This life is not it. You will be with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's no amal, there's no actions on that during that time. There's no actions in the resurrection. It's just hisab, it's just accountability. So let's take ourselves into account now before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes us into account then. And everyone around him, from his family, they speak well, they say good. Some of them become Muslim. And Abu Talib promises the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi that he is free to give his da'wah and that he will provide him protection. And so you see the reaction of Abu Lahab to Sayyidina Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, his vile responses to the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi, and how he interacted with him. And then you see Abu Talib, who doesn't believe. He didn't take his shahada, but still with that, he says, you came with something beautiful, and we will provide you protection as you call to that which you are calling to. So now the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi has the protection of Abu Talib and is able to go out openly and even with further strength in calling people to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.